Emma, thank you. Good day to everyone and welcome to the Zscaler Virtual CXO Summit. Resilience against ransomware, Zero Trust Best Practices for Threat Prevention. I'm Jay Chaudhry, CEO, founder, and chairman of Zscaler. Over the next 2.5 hours, we're going to cover a fair amount of information that gives you good insight to understand the ransomware threats and come up with meaningful protections against it. We are pleased to have assembled the most qualified subject matter authorities and experts to give you comprehensive understanding as well as advice. Upon completion of the summit, our goal is that you understand ransomware, you have a strong sense of what kind of risk is it causing, but most importantly, what steps can you take to protect your organization? Some of the key points we need to take away with: how do you prevent ransomware? How do you have to deal with the new kind of defenses rather than try to keep on doing the old type of stuff? Ransomware gets into stealing your data. It causes financial loss. How do you tackle that? And getting your organization ready for a range of threats that keep on evolving and evolving. Let me start with a little bit of the Zscaler background, why we play a role in helping you with ransomware. I started this company in 2008. At that time, I'd done 4 startups, 3 of them in security space. I'd seen the state of security changing. I'd seen the threat landscape changing. And I was involved in founding and funding traditional security appliance companies, where we built castle and moat model to keep the bad guys out and keep the good guys in our applications and everything. I could see the model falling apart. So Zscaler was created for the world where applications are anywhere, users are anywhere, and you should be able to do secure communication, secure access to your applications. I knew that as more and more business happens on the internet, more and more business happens in the cloud, there'll be more and more bad guys trying to get a piece of the action without working hard. So we really felt that a new model was needed. And that's how the company Zscaler was created. A little bit about the company. Today, we are just shy of $1 billion in annual recurring revenues. Okay. Even at that scale, we are growing at about 55 to 60% year over year. And that's because the architecture we built, the Zero Trust Exchange we built, is designed for the new world, as contrasted with traditional legacy hub and spoke network and castle and moat security built around VPNs and firewalls. We got about 5,600 customers, 35% of 35% of Fortune 500 companies are Zscaler customers. This includes some of the biggest, the big names like Siemens, Shell, DHL, GE, and lots of other companies in almost every vertical. One of the biggest challenge our customers share with us is ransomware. Hardly a day goes by when we don't hear about the losses that are caused by ransomware. It's not just financial losses. We're hearing about implications on life as these ransomware folks are hitting some of the healthcare institutions, hitting some of the hospitals and the like. We do extensive research on all cyber threats. Our Threat Labs research team saw a 500% increase in ransomware that was hidden in SSL traffic. That creates another challenge for all of us. SSL was invented so communication over the internet can be done safely without anyone being able to snoop on it. Well, the challenge is the bad guys hide their malware in the same encrypted traffic. So traditional security devices such as firewalls, which was never designed to inspect SSL traffic, so it gets bypassed. It is like putting luggage on a plane, and if airport can't have the ability to inspect it. Those are some of the big things that are causing issues. The numbers in terms of damage done by ransomware are staggering. Over $20 billion global estimated cost associated with ransomware recovery in 2021. We see about 4,000 ransomware attacks happen daily. And well over half of ransomware attacks involve personal data. The number keeps on going and going. I don't need to walk through all the data. It's plenty of stuff happening. The goal is understanding it and what can we do to protect ourselves against it. I'm going to use a few slides to set the stage because visually it's sometimes a little bit easier to understand the issues we're facing. Let's go back. In the past 30 years, when distributed computing started to take place, we start to build hub and spoke networks and castle and moat security. The networks took everything to the data center, the center of gravity where all applications sat, and we deployed a range of routers, switches, firewalls, UTMs, and load balancers to protect it. This model made perfect sense in that world. Well, we could do pretty good protection against all kind of threats in that world. But now, how should we look at ransomware issues holistically? You see lots of companies talking about lots of point products, or many talk about platform, but it's nothing more than collection of 5 companies they bought and kind of put a new name on it. Integration becomes hard. When I look at ransomware, when I look at cyber threats holistically, I look at it from 3 points of view. Number 1, how do we prevent our users from getting compromised? Every threat almost starts by compromising somebody or some system on your enterprise. All bad threats come from the internet. And if you secure your communication to the internet for your employees, for your workloads, for your IoT and OT devices, you will make sure you don't have compromised systems or users in your enterprise. That's step 1. We must prevent compromise. And that's where we help our customers because all traffic can be routed through our cloud service, our cloud exchange. It is like an international airport. You're inspecting what goes in and out. Step 2, knowing that in today's world, when supply chain attacks can happen, suppose something slipped in. Bad guys want to laterally move and they look for high value assets and high value applications. So the second goal should be preventing lateral threat movement. This is a big issue created by traditional network security-based model, where once you're on the network, you can go everywhere. Number 3, all bad guys want to steal your data. And that data is almost always sent to the internet. If we are inspecting what goes in and out, we should be able to detect your confidential or your special data that shouldn't be sent out. So preventing data loss becomes your third thing. These are the 3 important steps: preventing compromise, preventing lateral movement, and preventing data loss can help enterprises be more prepared against all these things. Now, why aren't we ready? You should be asking a question that when millions and millions of dollars are spent on security, I mean, worldwide, the amount of money spent on security is in the range of $150 to $200 billion. Why? Why are we still getting hacked? Haven't we bought enough of these modes and firewalls and VPNs and every little device that every company sells? Well, the problem is architecture. Problem is foundational. Let me explain in the next few minutes why. Today, all of us are embracing application transformation, whereby we are embracing SaaS applications. We are embracing public cloud to make our business more agile, more competitive, because we can get a bunch of applications up and running faster and start making better decisions. Our users are working from everywhere, especially during COVID. 100% of the people start to work from home. Your data is with your application, your data is with your users, your data is everywhere. And you spent so much money on traditional network and security, which is kind of not doing a whole lot because your business is happening outside your corporate network, which means we must transform our network, we must transform our security for business productivity, for cost reduction, and most importantly, for security. People sometimes wonder, why shouldn't we become more safer if we create more modes and more secure networks by doing better network security? Well, let me explain that with this simple slide. The problems of our lateral threat movement started about 30 years ago when we started doing distributed computing. And for the distributed computing, we built applications, put them in our data centers. And a user could get on the network, could connect the network to access applications. Since users were sitting in various branches, we extended a network to every branch. Orange is the corporate network in this diagram. And then we wanted to work from home. Well, we invented VPN. So we could extend a network to every household. If you got 50,000 employees, your network is in 50,000 households. And since we are embracing cloud, we extended a network to every cloud availability zone. This is wonderful for users to access applications. The problem is, from security point of view, a single infected machine in some household can traverse the entire network and actually bring everything down. That's what happened to Maersk, the mega shipping company, a couple of years ago. And what happened with Colonial Pipeline? Without spending too much time on it, a stolen VPN credentials were used to get on the network. Since VPN puts people on the network, once they connected, the bad guys were able to laterally move and found high value asset, and that was a billing application. Once they found it, they encrypted the application and they stole the data. That's why we call it double extortion. 100 gigabytes of data was stolen. And they asked for ransom. This is the problem. So the big part of the problem here was lateral movement. Now, there are multiple pieces that had to be done right. First of all, if VPN credential, maybe multi-factor authentication could have been done. But the lateral movement becomes one of the big issues. And as long as we deal with traditional firewalls and traditional VPN, whether they are on-prem or in the cloud, we have the same risk, because a firewall and VPN, they are networking device. They extend your network to wherever the device is sitting. So the goal is to go away from a firewall and network security centric model to a zero trust model. Unfortunately, zero trust word has been hijacked. Everyone has a different interpretation. It all started by literally thinking about not putting people on the corporate network. It is like not allowing someone in your headquarters unescorted. It is like walking someone to a meeting room, escorted And then once a meeting gets done, they get walked out. That's like connecting a user to a particular application, period, and not to the network. So to explain what that thing looks like, think of applications as destination. You could have external applications like SaaS and internet, internal applications that are sitting in your data center or public cloud. Users could be anywhere. Your users and applications are not on the same network. So you are not going to build network security devices. You use Zero Trust Exchange as a switchboard. Think of it like an intelligent switchboard, a phone switchboard that connects a person to the right person. So a user sitting on a mobile phone may need to access Office 365. She comes to us, we terminate connection, says, hold on, I can't let you pass through unless I verify you. Authentication happens. You check a few other things. What applications are they allowed to access? What's a risk posture? You may want to check device posture for that. Then we enforce policy for cyber data loss and even application prioritization and connect the right person to the right application. In the same case of internal applications, it's pretty similar with the difference that we essentially allow only an inside-out connection and connect users to only certain applications, not to the network. In this model, the lateral movement simply goes away. That means the kind of stuff that happened with Colonial Pipeline or that happens with 80–90% of the ransomware cases would not happen. That's really what the technology Zscaler has advocated. It is wonderful to see Biden administration focusing on Zero Trust as the core architecture. And they have emphasized NIST definition as the primary definition because there's so many definitions of Zero Trust floating around. I was reading another article last week which said, we are the best Zero Trust network security vendor. That sounds oxymoron. Either you do network security or you do Zero Trust. You don't really do both. Hopefully during this session, you're going to get a better understanding of how Zero Trust plays a role in helping you overcome the challenges of ransomware and the like.